and I like never wanted to run again. So the idea just popped in my head, like, okay, just like run 100 miles and then you can be done. It was going to be like my retirement tour, like just for me kind of thing. I ended up just like signing up for this race on a whim, and like, I always look at the ultra sign up, and I saw that Scott Treyer was in there, and I was getting so in my head about it. I was like, oh my God, it's over. Like, he's going to beat me. Why am I even racing? But luckily, running scared was like helpful for me. And at first I was playing it cool, like, oh, we'll see. And then your words are kind of just eating away at me, like, oh, it's Jim's course record. I was like, I got it. I got to go after it. I've run 100 miler and then I've DNF'd 100 miler. And I want to just like go to Tunnel Hill and slaughter.
Welcome back, everyone, to our Inside Aravaipa Meet the Team podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Heidi Allen.
I'm Bryce Brooks.
And we have Ethan Koza on the Arizona racing team with us today. He's from Flagstaff, but originally from Pennsylvania. Is that right?
Yep, Pennsylvania, Southeast, baby. Right outside of Philly. I mean, Southeast Pennsylvania, not the Southeast, per se.
What made you move out here to Flagstaff? That's a big move.
Yeah, it was COVID. So I was going to school in Philly, and it was terrible during lockdown, as a lot of places were. And I was like feeling terrible just every day, mentally, like letting go of everything. School was like a hard battle. I was on my school's like cross country and track team. That was a hard battle. And I decided I just like needed to leave Philadelphia. And I had been to Flagstaff before, just like passing through for a day. And I found this thing called the Arizona Conservation Corps, which is like, oh, you get to work out in the woods, you get to camp, like you meet all these cool people. And I was like, this is the perfect support thing structure that I need. It's outside. It's not like in the concrete jungle. So I just shipped out, started doing the Conservation Corps, was like living in a tent, living in my car. And just like fell in love so much with Flagstaff and the surrounding Southwest area that I just decided that here is where I wanted to be. So
it's gorgeous too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, Flagstaff is a gorgeous place. You're up at like 7,000 or 8,000. You've got gorgeous mountains to play around in. I saw that your first ultra was actually 100 miler. That's crazy. What made you decide to jump straight into 100 miler as your first trail?
So that was kind of like, I was at a point with like, so I ran in high school and college. I wasn't like, high school was a lot of fun. College was not very successful at, and there was a lot of stuff like with coaching and again with COVID where I just really wasn't enjoying running. And it got to this point where like I didn't have a good relationship with running. I didn't have a good relationship with like racing and pushing myself, especially. So I decided to like step back from the cross country and track team my junior year, I believe. So I quit the teams. I was feeling really bad, and I like never wanted to run again. So the idea just popped in my head, like, okay, just like run 100 miles and then you can be done. It was going to be like my retirement tour, like just for me kind of thing. And it just ended up working out well because it was like on a rail trail in Pennsylvania. So it was pretty flat. I had some like friends come out and support me and crew me, and like very memorable experience. But now it's like that 100 miler was almost easier because I didn't know what to expect. And now like thinking about doing 100 miles again is a lot more daunting than it was the first time around.
100 milers are more daunting than the first time around, you said?
Yeah, I would say it's more daunting now just because, like, I remember how much pain I was in, like, mile 80. I, like, sat down to change my shoes. I was having, like, some hip issues. And then, like, getting back up from sitting down was, like, I don't know. I can still, like, viscerally feel, if I, like, envision that moment again, just how hard that was. And knowing I still had 20 miles, like, at that point I knew I was going to do it because I told everybody I was going to do it. But now it's just like I have to get to mile 80 and that seems like a lot when I know what's at stake now. And obviously like I want to do well in a 100 miler. Um so being like competitive and not just doing it to finish it adds another layer of spice to it, so to speak.
I feel like there's a thrill to doing a distance for the first time too, where it's like, I have never done this before, but I know I want to. And then once you've done it, it almost like is harder to do it again the next time. Just because
Yeah, yeah.
it's not at like the thrill of the first time around.
Yeah, I think there's like a
I did see you.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I think there's a bit of a delay,
Oh,
but you go ahead.
okay. I kind of think of it, there's like 3 points. It's like the first time you do something, it's not that hard, but then the second time you do it, it's a lot harder. And then by the third time, you kind of level out like that learning curve where ignorance is bliss. And then now you think you have all this knowledge about the distance. So you do it again and it kicks your butt. And then the third time, you kind of let go of that, like all that extra structure and knowledge. And you're like, I'm just going to run again. And that, at least for like things that are less than a day or 24 hours, that seems like a pretty standard path that I've been following.
So I see your second attempt at a 100 miler was Havalina, which you ended up DNFing last year, which is also
Yes.
your only DNF on Ultra Sign Up. And you have a perfect Ultra Sign Up score, by the way. So congratulations.
Thanks. I
Bryce
don't
and I
think
were joking.
that's.
We're like, oh,
Oh,
we
sorry.
were joking that if at any point you didn't get first, we're like, oh, he has to DNF. He
Need
has
to
to
drop.
protect
Yeah.
that Ultra Sign Up score.
No, I think it's like a fun little quirk to have a perfect ultra sign up score, but like obviously there's a DNF on there, so it's not really 100%. I don't think I would have won that race last year. I unfortunately did not DNF just because I didn't think I was gonna win. I DNF because of like a similar hip issue I've been having. So that's like a sour spot on my mind where I need to go back and write that DNF at some point. But I'm not looking forward to having to get heat adapted again. So I'm gonna like put that off into the future, let it fuel me a little bit.
I love
So
it.
the first time I think we met Ethan was actually at Whiskey Basin Trail Run in 2024.
Hmm.
And looking through your ultra sign up, it seems like that was your first race kind of on the western side of the country. Like before that, it was
Yeah,
Pennsylvania, New York. What was the difference like coming out here and running that first race in Arizona?
it was terrifying. So I had come out. Um, So like all those East Coast races were basically like I was doing fire season and then I like flew home to New York for a race. Um so like I had been running in the West for a bit, but in terms of like running and racing in the West for the first time, it was terrifying because the week before I had left North Carolina, I just finished up prescribed fire there. So I was like at sea level. It wasn't super warm out. Like I didn't have a lot of hill and elevation to train on. And then I ended up just like signing up for this race on a whim. And like, I always look at the ultra sign up and I saw that Scott Trayer was in there. And I was getting so in my head about it. I was like, oh my
Yep.
God, it's over. Like, he's going to beat me. Why am I even racing? Um, but luckily, running scared was like helpful for me. And so that was really like nothing to do with fitness or nothing to do with like how I prepared for that race. I was just scared that somebody was going to beat me. And luckily that was only like a 60K, so I was able to like muster out the win for that. But just being on like those technical to me trails, like a few rocks and a few roots, and like doing these gnarly climbs, what I felt like were pretty gnarly was, again, it was kind of that ignorance is bliss thing where if I had done that race once and then I came back to do it again, I would have floundered comparatively because I would have known where the climbs were. I would have known where it was technical. Um, So luckily,
See,
beginner's luck, it worked out for me that time.
you came in. I remember you basically like got through the finish line and collapsed. Like you left it all out there. Like there didn't seem like there was a lot of holding back, especially in the end of that race.
Yeah. That was definitely, that's something I feel like I have to keep relearning. Um, just like with longer distance stuff, I feel like the distance has a tendency to like want to conquer your mindset to the point where like your goal is just to finish the distance and maybe not to compete. So at least with Whiskey Basin, which was like 60K, that was and the level of competition that I felt was in there was like one of the things I'm most proud of, that I was able to actually race the whole time instead of just like chugging through the distance and finishing. It really felt like I was actually
Sure.
competing, um, which I'm like hoping to get back to it higher and higher distances as training keeps going well in Flagstaff and so on. So, yeah.
And so another one I wanted to ask you about is was the Doggy Dash Buffaloops. So in
Yeah.
between Whiskey Basin and now you've run a couple races like Flagstaff, Big Pine, Sinister, Night Runs 54K, both
Mm-hmm.
of which you set course records. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice work. Um,
Thanks.
but then the Doggy Dash is a little bit different. It's a flatter race and it's just 6 hours fixed time. Was that your first like fixed time race, and how was it compared to like a normal distance trail race?
Yeah, that was my first fixed time race. Um, I don't know if everybody listening is familiar with Buffalo Park. It's like a pretty iconic park in Flagstaff. It's pretty much flat. There's like one little dip, but it's like pretty much flat. It's kind of exposed, but it's just like a big gravel path. Um, I really enjoyed that race for like 4 hours. And then after 4 hours, like being at Buffalo and knowing where every rock was and all the little divots in the trail became a very tedious mental exercise. And I actually ended up, not my greatest competitive moment. So I knew, because that's a 2 mile loop. So I knew where everybody else was. Um, and 5 hours and 40 or so minutes in, I crossed the finish line. I could have easily done another loop because it's 2 miles. So it would have taken me like 14 or 15 minutes. But I was like, you know what? I'm done. Like nobody's gonna run more miles than I'm running right now. So I just like sat down, uh, which looking back on it now, like that was not the best move for the competitive spirit of the race, but fixed time stuff is really cool. I don't know if I could do it on anything less than like a 2 mile loop. Like I know Hot Foot Hamster. I know like there's some races where it's like a 500-meter loop. I don't know if mentally I'm built for that. Like it might be cool to find out, but geez.
You should go for like last person standing at across the years.
Oh my gosh. I was at
Cool.
Across the
I
Years last year
Wait,
doing like some of the
pardon
videography
me.
stuff, and I got tired of that loop after 3 hours. Like, beautiful loop, the sports complex and everything, but just knowing what you have going on, like that little aid station like tunnel in the parking lot is cool. Everybody has the flags up, but I could not. So much respect to the people that did the 3 or 6 day event there. That's just not my. Once it gets dark, I'm done. Like the willpower is gone. I'm not competing once it gets dark anymore. I'm just out there. So maybe something I have to work on, but we'll see if the Aravaipa jersey makes an appearance out there.
Oh, right on.
Yep.
And then I also wanted to ask about Blackout. So your most recent result was taking down a course record from somebody under the radar named Jim Walmsley, decade old course record. So going from 50K and up, 6 hour and up, down to like just over a 10K race. How was the how did your training and the approach change or differ from what you've been doing? And can you talk a little bit about the race? Because it was, you were moving so fast. It was pretty incredible.
Oh, thank you. So in terms of my approach, I didn't really change anything specifically. I did do a couple track workouts, which was new to me, and that was kind of like Blackout wasn't the goal. The goal was to do like speed work. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Like I want to be a better, more well-rounded athlete. And I think that doing speed is maybe going to help with like this hip issue that I've been having. So when I started throw in a track workout or two, do some like quicker, shorter interval fartleks, um, Blackout just kind of became like, it wasn't the goal, but it was like, let's see if I can test my fitness at something shorter. I'm getting more comfortable running quickly on trails as well. And obviously you like told me about that race, so you put it in my head. And at first I was playing it cool, like, oh, we'll see. And then your words are kind of just eating away at me, like, oh, it's Jim's course record. I was like,
It's
I
10
gotta
years
go
old.
after it. And
Somebody
obviously,
has to do
like,
it.
yeah, yeah. And obviously, like, I know Jim would destroy me. Um, but it's just kind of like extrapolating because he was the same age that I am now when he ran that race. And so, like, if I can be like above that curve and looking 10 years down the road to like when I reach really good fitness or like my true ultra fitness, it was more just like a reminder of like what good there is to come. You know, like I'm not. It was fun to poke the bear a little bit with like taking down a gym course record. Probably the
Are
only
you saying we're
gym
looking
course
at
record
the
that I could take. What was up?
I said, are you saying that we're looking at the next future Jim Walmsley?
No, no, not at all. Um, just saying like
Maybe. I
if
don't
I can.
know.
He has beautiful form. He runs like like a prairie animal. He's just
Gazelle.
pouncing along. I'm like a bulldozer. It's not the same.
Yeah, it's
But
not. That wouldn't be the worst nickname.
no. So just like it's a good
Yeah, I remember
place
Bryce.
of. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Heidi.
No, it's okay. I think it's weird we have this delay. You go ahead and talk.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. Um, it's just a good like. It's just a good thing to tease myself with for the future. Like, obviously, if I can do this and I can extrapolate, like, I know I can have a lot of success late into my 30s, early into my 40s at all kinds of distance. So that's all that really was. It was just a fun event, like come out, get my name out there in Flagstaff a little bit. And the community was like super excited for me. So like I don't know what more I could ask for.
Yeah. No, that's a great perspective. And I remember Bryce coming to me before Blackout and he's like, this record can totally be taken. He's like, and I'm pretty sure that Ethan can do it. So we're gonna highlight it at this race and you just like blew expectations out of the water. It was awesome.
It was hard to drive to the other side of the course before you ran there the long way. It was, yes, next level, man. Um, so I wanted to ask what are some of your future racing plans? I know you have Sky Peaks 50 mile coming up, and then potentially a Tunnel Hill 100 mile. If you could speak to that a little bit.
Yeah. So, um, Sky Peaks and Tunnel Hill are both on my ultra sign up right now. I might have some shorter stuff before that I'm just considering, like, if it's going to be fun. Like, I might do, Mug Yum Monster 42K, get some gnarly climbing
Oh,
in,
yeah.
do like the, Jerome Hill climb race, which is like an Arizona Roadrunner series race.
Oh,
Um,
that's
Yeah,
cool.
I've been teasing the idea of doing Stagecoach 55K, which is the week before Flagstaff Sky Peaks, just to kind of see like what that feels like. But in terms of like what's on the calendar for sure, we have Sky Peaks, which is like to me seems like the best case. Like it's in Flagstaff, it's got a bunch of vert, which is something I'm not used to, so I want to like step out of my comfort zone, and it's a 50-mile race, which is kind of like the perfect distance for me right now, where you can do a 50-mile race, recover fairly quickly, and keep building or keep training, and it doesn't have to like take you out like a 100-miler would. Um, but to that point, after Sky Peaks, looking at Tunnel Hill, it's a 100-mile, it's a fast course. Like, I love running fast. I know people out here like love the mountains, love the gnarly trail. I'm still an East Coast kid. Like, give me some flat rail trail miles. Um, Let me just like go psycho on them, you know? So we're
Yeah.
gonna see basically Sky Peaks is like seeing how my hip is gonna feel. And I keep talking a lot about my hip. Basically, like, once I start running for like 4+ hours, my left hip starts like seizing up on me. It's hard to like put power down. It's something I can work through race by race basis, but it makes me nervous to push through it because I don't know if I'm doing like um, long-term damage to like my muscles or tendons. So I'm working on a strength plan. I've been looking at some PT options. Um, I'm trying to be patient because it's like I've had this issue for so long. I don't expect it to get fixed right away. But I am starting to like take serious steps to make it not be an issue, you know, as much as I can, like, because PT is expensive and strength coaching, all that stuff is expensive. So as much as I can like reasonably get my body healthy without breaking the bank, um, in addition to running fast, that is the other goal, is like have a healthy body, keep having a healthy
Yeah.
body, maintain the health. So Tunnel Hill is like, because I've run 100 miler and then I've DNF'd 100 miler, and I want to just like go to Tunnel Hill and slaughter. Like, I don't know how else better to put it. Like, I just want to destroy whoever's there, and I think that's a mindset that a lot of people in ultra have. It's like, doesn't matter who's there. I literally want to like kill you in the sense of competing. And I just want to get back to that like sun up to sundown, like got the fire behind my eyes. I just want
Yeah.
to go out and like kill everybody at the race. Not, you know what I mean. But yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. And I love that you're not afraid to like put that out there and just like tell people like the confidence, like, yeah, I'm gonna destroy this race. You better be scared.
yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. And I think it's a smart approach too, like with your hip, you know, you're so young, like you have years ahead of you in this sport. You don't want to
Hmm.
have an injury now that then might prevent you from completing the goals that you have like later on. So
Yeah,
I think that's smart.
yeah. I
I
feel
hope
like I'm
that,
just getting started. So I want to be smart
yes,
for 10+ years down the road.
for sure. Do you
See.
have any like races that you could see yourself like really wanting to do within like the next 10 years? Like
Hmm.
looking super far ahead, what are like your big goals in ultra running?
This might be the wrong. I would say a lot of people don't formulate their goals externally, maybe like I do, but the race isn't as important as who I want to take down in the race. And so like I have a ton of respect for like any top elite athlete in the field, but at the same time like I hate that person. Like whoever it is, I'm not going to like put anyone's name specifically, but like whoever is at the top, I hate them.
Yeah, like if you want to, what were you saying? You like when you're at the start line, you're looking at the big names and you hate that person.
Yeah. So that's what I really want to get to is obviously there's races that bring that competition. So like um, Western States or Black Canyon or Havalina or some of the more like vert heavy mountain races. But what I really want is to like be known as a competitor. And so you look at my ultra sign up and you're like, well, that's not true. He just like runs local races and wins them. I feel like I'm trying to build a knowledge base first and get some experience so that like when I feel like I'm ready to step onto the elite competitive stage, it's not like I'm going in blind. Um,
Yeah.
so really like 5 years, 10 years from now, throw me in any race that's got like a big name in it, somebody that I like respect as an athlete, but I want to tear them apart. And that is what really excites me. I don't care if it's a flat race on the East Coast. I don't care if it's like just climbing, climbing, climbing. It doesn't matter if it's 100 miles, if it's 10 miles. Like, I'm gonna find where the competitors are, and I'm gonna like do everything in my power to take that name off of the record book or take that name out of stone, whoever wrote it there, and just keep picking away at it, you know?
That's pretty epic. I
Oh
love how
yeah.
cutthroat it is.
I think that's what we need more of in the sport. I love the competitive attitude, man. Can you talk a little bit about like I mean, because you moved from Pennsylvania to Flagstaff, a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
reason seems like for training, for ultra running, for the running community. Could you talk about some of like the benefits you've received and like that you've noticed in your training or in the way that you approach these races with that move?
Yeah. So like I never, you know, like running in Pennsylvania most of my life. Um, One of the biggest things is like I was never confident in races that have like any amount of elevation gain. And now like if I look at a race with like 10,000, 15,000 feet of climbing, it's starting to not seem like I'm at a disadvantage, and it's actually starting to seem like that's where I can put the most work in on people. Um, Obviously, being at altitude like has great benefits for your aerobic capacity, but really, it's just been like I've found, and it's not been a lot of people, maybe because I'm a little shy or whatever, but I've definitely found a few people that I can run with, and that's the biggest thing is I'm not out there by myself every day. Like I can have easy miles and converse with people, um, which has been the most beneficial thing because it seems like everyone here has so much experience racing and like so much experience just like being in the Southwest. They know the cool trails, they know what to do. So like getting the effectively one-on-one coaching from people that I'm running with has been the biggest thing. Obviously, like when I was in Pennsylvania, I had my cross country and track team, but that was a very different focus. Like the seasons were set, the races were set, and there was one way to do things. Now, like being in Flagstaff, like people say it makes you soft to the weather. So in addition to just running, now there's like hitting the sauna, doing things in the weight room. There's like heat suit stuff. There's all these other things besides running that I've learned are helpful for running. Um, and it's just like I did move out here like kind of for running. So every day I wake up, I'm very grateful to be out here. I have goals, and it's just a great reminder every day. Like, what are we doing this for? Like, let's get after it. You have these beautiful trails. You committed to this, changing your lifestyle for this. So just nice to see scenery that has topographical features that aren't buildings.
Yeah, totally.
Well, thanks, Ethan. I have a couple like rapid fire questions I like to ask. Um, if you wouldn't mind, you can expound on them as much as you want, or just keep them short. And then I think we'll wrap up the podcast from there.
All right.
So to start off, what is your go-to shoe that you are wearing for your races or training?
For training, it's the Speed Goat. For races, it's the Tecton X2s.
Okay. And what's your favorite fuel?
I use Never Second. I was using their gels for a while, and now I'm using their powder. I just stick to 90 grams an hour. Not a high carb guy or anything, but Never Second's all the way.
Nice. I love Never Second too. Um, if you could run with anybody, dead or alive, who would it be?
Hmm. Right now, I'd probably have to say my coach. I work with a guy named Will Baldwin. He lives in Boulder, Colorado, or Denver, one of those. And I've met him once at Havalina, and he seems like a really cool guy. So I want to actually spend time with him outside of just like him helping me become a better athlete, so that we can just become like better friends. Yeah.
That's awesome. And if you can give advice to anyone in the ultra running community, what advice would you tell them?
Two things. One is the physical training doesn't matter as much as the mental training. Um, you can interpret that a lot of ways. Just like I always take time set aside to like visualize racing, to visualize like self talk, um, just like positive ways that the race is going to go and reinforce that. The other thing is don't run with music. I feel like you want a pure running or racing experience. Put the music down, let yourself feel how yourself is feeling. It also makes you more trail aware. So, yeah.
That's a good one. And I feel like a little bit of a hot take. Like I can see some people being very protective of their music that they listen
Yeah.
to, on trails. I'm the same way though. I don't listen to anything. I like just being able to be one.
Yeah. I like listening to the hummingbirds like fly by on the trail. So that's what I like.
Yeah. I feel like you get to see a lot more wildlife. I guess maybe, I don't know. Maybe there's a stat. I don't, but maybe if you don't listen to music, you recognize the wildlife around you more.
Yeah. That's how I feel. And the flowers. I feel like sometimes you maybe throw on a little like Coltrane. I just feel like that's a good interpretation of the trail. Like if you really want a chill day and you want to listen to music, that's what I would do a lot is like I'll throw some John Coltrane on and just like let the free form kind of like dictate how I'm stepping on the trail, if I'm leaping, if I'm taking quick steps. But that's a treat more than the typical training.
Nice. Yeah. Well, do you have any other questions?
No, just excited to see you out at Sky Peak, see what you have coming up. I think Tunnel Hill's an exciting one. I mean, that's one I'm interested in. Flat, fast. Records are set there. It's like there's a bunch of eyes on it. I think it's a cool one to aim for, to like really throw down on. So, no, just excited to keep following along, man.
Cool. Yeah, sorry for all the technical difficulties. I don't know. Unfortunately, I'm not the most tech savvy Aravaipa Racing team member, apparently.
No, dude, you're making it happen. And we appreciate you working with us on it and doing this on your work break, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
Cool.
right. Well,
Well,
thank
thank
you for
you.
having me.
All
If there's
right.
any, let me know. I'm around. But otherwise, I look forward to seeing you guys at Sky Peak.
All right.
Yeah, we'll be there.
We'll see you,
Yeah.
man.
Peace out.
All right. Bye.